All right, so today we're diving deep into TATANKA's newest concept album, 1011.
Yeah, and this one's an experience more than just music.
It really is, though, right? This isn't just some catchy tunes, it's a whole story, a whole mood. And it just dropped a few days ago in 2024. And you know what's got me hooked?
With that.
How TATANKA blends the music with a mission, that whole music meets mission thing.
Yeah, they're totally breaking the mold with that. It's not every day you see an artist saying, hey, call me, literally giving their number out, 1-605-808-1011, right on their website so you can chat about what the album means.
Talk about a direct line to the artist. And get this, the album's website, it describes 1011 as picking up like 25 years after Radiohead's OK Computer. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That whole tech anxiety kind of vibe?
Yeah, absolutely. And TATANKA, they tap into those anxiety, the same ones we felt back then, but they're looking at them through today's lens,
Yeah.
a world even more connected, more reliant on technology.
Like they're holding up a mirror, right, to our lives. So you ready to unpack this thing?
Let's do it.
All right, so 1011, it's structured like a 5-act play, and it all starts with Act 1, Awakening.
And this is where you get those eerie, ambient vibes that really pull you in, like you're the computer booting up into this digital world.
Oh, totally. Like right from that first track, Cygnus Rising. I mean, even the name Cygnus, that's not just a random word, right?
Right.
It's a constellation, one that's all about destiny, a preordained path.
Exactly. And when you pair that with the lyrics about being reborn into this digital world, you really feel it, Like you're right there, experiencing that digital awakening along with the music.
Sets you up for the journey right from the start. And then Echo Flux hits.
Yeah, and you picked up on the loneliness in Echo Flux,
Yeah.
which is really crucial to understanding where TATANKA is going with this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
It sets the stage for how they explore digital spaces and how, even though we're supposedly more connected than ever, those spaces can actually make us feel more isolated.
Yeah, it's like those voices echoing in the emptiness of the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're searching, but never quite connecting.
Everyone's shouting into this void,
Yeah.
hoping for some kind of response.
And just when you think you've got a handle on the vibe, spectre frequency kicks in and things get even more, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, those phantom heartbeats in spectre frequency, those aren't just some cool effect that TATANKA threw in there.
Oh,
It's their way of making us feel how blurry the lines between the physical and digital really are.
okay. How's that?
It's like the song's asking you, is this rhythm? Is this in my headphones? Or is that my own heart starting to, mimic the machine?
Whoa, that's deep. Like we're questioning what's real anymore in this digital world. And that question, it kind of lingers as we move into Act 2, Disconnection.
Yeah, and that's where TATANKA really digs into how technology impacts our relationships, our sense of self, and it's not always, sunshine and roses.
No, it's not. Take Veil of Pixels, for example.
yeah.
I mean, the title alone.
Heavy, right?
Mourning love in the time of likes.
Yeah. It really speaks to how superficial online relationships can be. We're surrounded by these connections, but we still feel completely alone.
100%. And then, bam, fracture point hits you. Even more intense. Shattered mirrors, fragmented identities. I mean, even just saying the title gives me chills.
It perfectly captures that price we pay for living in this hyper-connected world.
How so?
Our online personas, they're just these fractured pieces of who we really are.
Right.
Curated, edited for an audience.
We're performing constantly, and I think that's something a lot of people can relate to today. Which leads us to a track I think a lot of people are going to feel, Haze of the Unseen.
It's that feeling of searching for something real in all this digital noise,
It's like walking through a fog. You're never quite sure what's real and what's an illusion. And that's where we're going to leave you for now, hanging in that haze of the unseen. But trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next.
Okay, so we're back, and man, things are about to get heavy as we go deeper into TATANKA's 1011.
Buckle up.
Right. We left off in Act 2, Disconnection, feeling that digital haze, that like emptiness.
Yeah, that longing for something real, something more.
Yes.
And as we move into Act 3, Descent, that unease, it doesn't let up. It just intensifies. It's like TATANKA takes us on this sonic roller coaster ride through addiction, this loss of reality and that feeling of being trapped in the digital world.
Trapped is a good word for it because the imagery that TATANKA uses in this act, it's intense.
It really is.
Like in Loop of the Naiad. Like those naiads, those mythical creatures, those water nymphs who lured sailors to their deaths with your voices.
Oh, yeah.
With those enchanting voices.
I see where you're going with this.
It's not just any addiction TATANKA's thinking about here. It's that seductive pull of the digital world. It's that siren song that you can't escape.
Our phones are the sirens, and we can't resist.
We're all captivated.
And then there's Phantom Limb, which, man, that title alone gets me every time.
It's such a visceral image, isn't it?
It is.
That ache for something you can't grasp, like a void where something used to be.
It's like the ghost of what we've lost to the digital world,
Yeah.
Like those real-life connections, those experiences, even parts of ourselves we've given up for the screen. It gives me chills just thinking about it.
It's powerful stuff. And then that descent, it culminates in Disembodied, a track that's unsettling, both musically and thematically.
How so?
It's like a disembodied voice, crying out from the depths of this digital void. And it makes you question what it even means to be human in this space.
Whoa.
It makes you think.
It really does. But here's the thing, TATANKA, they don't leave us just wallowing in that digital darkness. Even as the album moves into Act 4 Reckoning, and believe me, that weight of what we've heard so far, it's still there.
It's heavy.
But there's a shift. There's this glimmer of hope, but there's also this haunting quality.
Like the machines themselves are taking stock of what's happened,
Yes.
Like they're trying to make sense of it all.
And maybe even questioning their role in everything, which is where Ghostwrite comes in. And this track, honestly, this is one of the ones that really messed with my head.
Yeah, this is a big one. The fact that we're hearing from the machine's perspective in this song, like it's not just a tool anymore. It's got its own voice, its own desires. It's a huge statement.
It really is. Like, it makes you wonder, are we the ones writing the code?
Or is the code writing us?
Right.
It's like that line gets blurred,
Total.
Who's in control here?
It's like that saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. Takes on a whole new meaning when you think about it in the context of this album. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that search for connection in this digital world, the sea of information, it continues in Signal Drift, which, by the way, might be my favorite track on the entire album.
It's a good one.
It's so good.
That image of a message in a bottle,
Oh, yeah.
It just perfectly captures that feeling of sending out these pleas into the void, hoping someone will hear you, hoping for a connection that might never come.
It's like we're all just drifting through this digital sea, sending out our little SOS messages, hoping for a response.
And it highlights that tension we all feel, that pull between wanting to connect and the isolating nature of technology. We're bombarded with information, with virtual interactions, but actually connecting with someone, it feels impossible sometimes.
Right, like trying to grab onto smoke.
Exactly.
It's enough to make you want to just chuck your phone into the ocean and be done with it.
Right.
Except then you couldn't listen to 1011 anymore, which would be a real shame.
That'd be a tragedy.
Speaking of escaping reality, that's where SpectralX comes in. And this one feels almost like a warning.
Oh, tell me more about that.
Yeah, it's like TATANKA's holding up a mirror to all of us, to that desire for a digital oasis, a virtual paradise where everything's perfect,
A digital utopia.
Yes, but at what cost?
Right.
Are we willing to give up real human connection for this fake perfect world?
It makes you think.
It really does. And that's the question TATANKA leaves us with as we enter the final act, Act V Rebirth.
All right, so here we are, Act V Rebirth. We've gone through the digital ringer with TATANKA, and I'm ready for some hope.
And I think that's what TATANKA's giving us. Not solutions exactly, but a path forward.
Like that we're in this together kind of feeling, like we can't undo the digital age, but we can choose what we make of it. Exactly. And it's resonance frequencies where that shift really starts to hit you. It's not about ditching technology altogether.
No, it's about finding some kind of balance. Right.
Finding the harmony.
Where tech actually connects us instead of, all the stuff we talked about.
Think about it. Our hearts and the circuits on the same wavelength. There's optimism in that.
It's a good feeling after the last, hour of music, honestly. But then we hit Circuit Breaker's Lament, and that takes things in a different direction, doesn't it?
That title. I always picture someone going full on, smashing the system to escape it.
Yes, like a wake-up call to TATANKA saying, hey, I showed you the dangers, now go break free.
Be mindful. Right. Tech shapes us. Don't just let it happen. We've got to choose how we use it.
Boundaries, taking back our time, our attention, who we are. And those last two tracks, man, they nail that feeling. Synthetic Horizon and Reboot Renaissance, even just the words.
Like stepping out of the fog, a new beginning.
Exactly. Not about erasing the digital world, but using what we've learned, the good, the bad, to build something better.
And that's what's so great about 1011. It's not just an album. It's sparking conversations, holding up a mirror to how we feel about tech.
A total trip, man, no doubt. But before we wrap, I gotta know, this has been bugging me. 1011, the title. It's binary, right?
Yep. And you know, it's interesting. 1011, that's the same as 11 in decimal.
More than a cool title, then. But 11, what's that about?
In numerology, 11's a powerful number. It means intuition, spiritual awakening.
Hold on. Spiritual awakening, like waking up to how digital our lives have become.
Exactly. It's like TATANKA wants us to decode more than just the lyrics, but the whole system,
Yeah.
Find where our gut feeling meets the technology.
Wow. Thinking about it like that, it's not just anxiety, it's also, like, there's potential in all this.
Absolutely. Potential for connecting, for making cool stuff, for a future where tech lifts us up, not the other way around.
So anyone listening, as you dive into 1011, don't just let it play in the background. Really think about it. What does it mean for you? How are you shaping your digital world? And how's it shaping you right back?
That's the journey TATANKA's inviting us on, figuring out who we are in this digital age.
And that, my friends, is our deep dive for today. Catch you next time, same channel, for more adventures in music and meaning.